Vipedia, the video encyclopedia that makes knowledge personal, visual, and timeless. Master the art of respectful travel and global connection with these cultural etiquette essentials. Bow instead of shaking hands. Remove shoes indoors. Never stick chopsticks upright in rice. Be quiet on public transport. Greet with a light handshake. Minimal eye contact. Always offer and receive items with both hands. Leave a bit of food to show satisfaction. Avoid political discussions. So, in the United States, it's important to use a firm handshake and make eye contact. People here usually move to a first-name basis pretty quickly. Oh, and don't forget to tip generously, usually around 15 to 20%. Also, respecting personal space is definitely appreciated. In the United Kingdom, you should greet people with a handshake and keep things polite and a bit reserved. It's really important to always queue and wait your turn. Folks often use indirect speech and a bit of understatement, and yeah, it's best to avoid asking about income or religion. Among friends in France, cheek kisses, la bise, are common while a handshake is used in more formal settings. You typically don't split the restaurant bill unless you're invited to. It's a good idea to dress well even if it's just casual. And really, don't rush through meals. Enjoying your food is part of the culture. So, in Germany, it's really important to be punctual. It's a sign of respect. When you greet someone, go for a formal Guten Tag and a handshake. Oh, and remember to keep your hands visible at the table. Directness is valued here, but that doesn't mean being rude. In Italy, greetings are warm, with handshakes or even cheek kisses. Never, and I mean never, ask for cheese on seafood. Italians tend to dress fashionably even when they're just being casual. And well, speaking with passion is the norm. Gestures are totally common. In Canada, you'll want to greet people with a polite handshake or a simple nod. It's important to be inclusive and respectful of all cultures. You'll notice people apologize often. It's just part of the culture. And, yeah, small talk is definitely encouraged. So, in Brazil, it's totally normal to use touch in conversation. Hugs and kisses are just part of the culture. Punctuality is, pretty flexible when it comes to social events. Oh, and always use your right hand. Just a heads up, you should avoid the OK hand sign. In Australia, casual greetings are the way to go. Saying "G'day" is perfectly fine. Equality and informality are really valued there. Tipping is optional, but it's always appreciated. And yeah, try not to boast or come across as pretentious. When you're in South Korea, it's important to bow and use both hands when shaking hands. Respect for elders, both in speech and actions, is a big deal. You shouldn't pour your own drink. Always serve others first. And don't forget to remove your shoes indoors. So in India, it's common to greet others by saying namaste with your palms pressed together. You should eat with your right hand only, and always remember to remove your shoes before entering someone's home or a temple. Oh, and definitely avoid touching someone's head or pointing your feet at anyone. In Russia, a firm handshake with direct eye contact is the way to go. Don't smile at strangers, since it can come across as insincere. When visiting, it's polite to bring a small gift, and make sure to respect the formality during introductions. In Mexico, greetings usually involve a handshake or sometimes even a cheek kiss. Building personal relationships is really important in business there, and you shouldn't rush meetings. Small talk is expected first. Oh, and just so you know, time tends to be pretty flexible in social situations. So, in Spain, it's common to greet people with 2 cheek kisses, even in pretty formal situations. Dinners usually happen late, like around 9 or 10 in the evening, which might feel a bit unusual if you're used to earlier meal times. It's best to use titles and last names until you're invited to do otherwise. And oh, make sure to dress smartly when you're out in public. When you're in Saudi Arabia, you should greet people with Assalamu alaikum. Also, it's important to use your right hand only for eating and greeting. Public displays of affection are a no-go. And just so you know, dressing modestly is expected, especially for women. In Turkey, a handshake is the usual way to greet someone, but among friends, cheek kisses are pretty common. Always offer tea to your guests. It's a big part of their hospitality. Remember to remove your shoes before entering someone's home. And yeah, showing respect for elders is really important. When greeting someone in Indonesia, you should usually go for a handshake or a slight bow. It's important to use your right hand only, and, make sure to dress modestly. Oh, and try to avoid pointing or touching someone's head since that's considered disrespectful. Greetings in South Africa can really vary. A handshake, making eye contact, or even a slight bow are all common. It's a good idea to respect the country's cultural diversity, especially since there are 11 official languages. Also, tipping is customary, usually around 10 to 15%. And just a heads up, it's best to avoid racially or politically sensitive topics. In Thailand, people typically greet each other with a Y, which is done by placing your palms together. Never touch the head since it's considered sacred. You should always remove your shoes before entering homes or temples, and above all, show deep respect for the royal family. So, in Singapore it's customary to greet with a handshake and a slight bow. Also, it's really important to keep public spaces clean. Littering can actually get you fined. You should always respect the country's religious and ethnic diversity. Oh, and don't chew gum in public since it's actually banned there. In the Netherlands, people usually greet each other with a handshake and direct eye contact. It's super important to be punctual for appointments. Folks value directness, so just say what you mean. And remember to avoid interrupting others during conversations. In Sweden, you greet by shaking hands and making eye contact. Being punctual is a big deal, and it's best to avoid being loud. People really appreciate modesty, so don't flaunt wealth. Oh, and make sure to remove your shoes when you go indoors. So, in Norway, greetings tend to be informal, but folks are still a bit reserved. Equality really matters here. Using titles is pretty uncommon. It's also important to respect silence during conversations. And just so you know, tipping is appreciated, but honestly, it's not really expected. When you're in Switzerland, you should shake hands with everyone as you enter a room. Punctuality is absolutely sacred, so try not to be late. Also, don't raise your voice. People value a calm atmosphere. Privacy and formality are really important too. In the Philippines, it's polite to use titles like Sir, Ma'am, or add Po when you're speaking. Oh, and remember to remove your shoes in many homes. Hospitality here is super warm and generous. People usually avoid direct confrontation. Non-confrontational communication is the norm. So, when you're in the United Arab Emirates, it's polite to greet others with Assalamu alaikum and, to use your right hand. Make sure to dress conservatively, especially when you're out in public. Also, you should avoid physical contact with the opposite sex. And yeah, remember to respect Islamic practices and prayer times. In Vietnam, it's polite to bow slightly and greet others with both hands. You'll also want to avoid pointing your feet at people or sacred objects, as that can be seen as disrespectful. When giving or receiving something, always use two hands. And just so you know, it's best to avoid touching heads, especially those of children. In Egypt, greetings usually involve a handshake, but men should wait for women to offer first. Hospitality here is super generous, so it's a good idea to always accept tea or food when offered. Open criticism of religion or politics is definitely something to avoid. And especially in religious areas, modest dress is really appreciated. In Argentina, greetings are often a single cheek kiss or a handshake. People there are pretty comfortable with close contact, so personal space tends to be small. Meals usually start late, and dining is a very social affair. If you're in urban settings, you'll want to dress well. For more information, you can check out Kiss, Bow, or Shake Hands by Terry Morrison and Wayne A. Conaway, as well as the Culture Smart Country Guides from Cooperard Publishing. There's also the Global Etiquette Guide series by Dean Foster and Expatica.com for country-specific etiquette advice. BBC Travel has customs and etiquette guides, while Lonely Planet offers culture and etiquette sections. You might also want to look at resources from national tourism boards and embassies, U.S. State Department travel advisories, worldnomads.com for international behavior tips, and Condé Nast Traveler's Etiquette Around the World article.